Hi everyone, and welcome to this extra edition of Lima Online. This program is a bonus, so to say, to the program that was curated by Martijn van Boven under the title Communication Hiccups. For this program, he had selected some works from the Lima collection that deal with unresolved problems concerning communication systems and how they transform intentionally or unintentionally messages between broadcaster and receiver. He had made this selection together with his third-year students interaction design from the Artes Academy of Arts. But during the night program, we couldn't show all of the works, which was a shame because the works are amazing. But what was mostly intriguing us was the motivation that the students gave for selecting these works. They have picked sometimes works from the 80s, but saw in them a contemporary reflection on society, which made the works look so fresh again and they really shed like a different light on existing work. So for this program, I want to leave the screen to them. We're going to see the works, and after they will tell us about what they find so interesting in this work. So enjoy this program.
Ik ben hier in Amsterdam.
Four, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Gonna be loading down.
9, 10.
Come on, are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, can you hear my first few words okay?
No problem at all. Just a second, Miss. I'll have 10 minutes. Just a second, please.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same problem that I have with Bill, is that I missed the first few seconds of your conversation. So the telephone company suggested that you whistle first before you start a sentence, and that seems to clear the line, even though it sounds ridiculous.
All right, we'll do that.
Yes, Tom? Great!
Bill?
Here comes Bill.
Whistling away.
Here's Bill Bachelor whistling.
We're going to start now with our graphics. That'll be 3 frames, about 30 seconds. And then 3 frames of a picture of me. Is that understood? And then you guys can receive.
2 graphics.
How was that, Aldo?
Good. From MIT here for Aldo, we received you perfectly. It was good.
Bill in Canada.
It's very faint, Tom. A lot of interference on it, but we were getting a full scan on it, yes.
Yeah, what did you get?
Can't tell you.
You can't tell me. Uh-oh.
We're ready to transmit here at MIT.
Okay, what's your name, Skip?
Skip.
Okay.
Oh, that's perfect. There's Aldo.
All right, change.
Hello? Bill, you back? What'd you get?
So, I could hear the signal coming over, but there was a lot of, so much noise that I still couldn't read. But why don't we send our logo and see how you receive it? Okay, then we're going to switch to receive.
Fine.
Okay, go on. What are you going to do in the middle of
Ja, heel mooi.
First of all, when you go into 35,
Seems fairly strong. I shut the mic off.
There!
Hello, Bill? It was fine. It was very clear.
It sounds very strong, going out,
How about you, Aldo?
They should try again.
Yeah, we have a weak connection with Bill Bartlett here at MIT.
everything going through.
Yeah? Perhaps MIT can send their graphics one more time. So you want to try to send out another minute or so of graphics so Bill can see if he can get a better reception?
Oh, an American telephone.
This is Tom in Amsterdam. It was very clear.
Okay, beautiful.
How about you, Bill?
Bad.
Bad?
Bad.
Bill, you still there? Hello, Bill? Aldo, you still there?
Yes, Aldo here.
We're going to just go ahead with the program. I guess it's the best we can do for now.
I can't hear Bill at all. Hey, Bill, you there?
He's worse than ever, Tom.
You don't hear him at all, huh?
Okay, well, we'll just have to go ahead with it.
Who is next?
What?
Who is next?
What did you say?
Who is going to transmit next? We are ready here. MIT is ready.
We're going to send next, as we're going to send our second part, which is a graphic,
Yes?
and then 2 minutes of prepared material,
Yes?
and then a graphic, and then back on the line for a short moment.
And then we'll be next. MIT will be next.
That.
Okay, fine. Go.
receive it very well.
Okay, we're ready to receive.
Are you ready to send, Aldo?
Yes, we're ready to send.
Okay, we're
Hey, are you ready, Gil? Yeah. Haven't heard you. Move it.
Okay, you're on video disc now.
Yeah. Oh, you want to do this?
After this one, you could just send
Oh,
it.
wait.
Okay, go ahead.
That's nice. No, don't put on news.
Is Bill there at all? Bill, you there? Hello, Bill. Oh, Bill's drowned in the Pacific Ocean, I think.
MIT's ready. Go ahead.
Here we go. We're going to be sending
Ready to receive? You're in receive?
prepared fees.
Okay.
You must be outside.
Definitely try to turn her, she said.
Luister, naar deze, eruit. Ja, gewoon eruit. Ja? Ja?
Oh, get the Boston Globe and the New York Times. Hands up. All hands up, you want, okay?
Sex and violence.
Sex and violence. Right. There you go.
Okay? Let's transmit one more.
The last section is made to be done with shadows.
Can you set up your light to do that also? If not, then just react with whatever you have. Yeah, there's going to be no audio in between.
When you stop transmitting, we will send. Correct?
Very good.
All right, come on.
Okay.
Like this, okay. All right, we got it.
Up yours.
Then the last shot is goodbye. Right, goodbye. From MIT.
Can you, Wessel, can you explain me a little bit, what it meant for you, like the work that you found and how it relates to the topic?
Yeah. So when I found it, I only saw like a small part of it, and what like kind of kept hanging mostly was people hanging over their devices with their ears and stuff like that. So immediately, without even actually knowing what it was about, reminded me of how we use like video software conferencing calls like Zoom, and sort of the struggle we have with talking to each other over the internet, and how it like, it's not going fluently at all, and constantly the feedback of the sound with the microphones on. So I think it was really, really nice to see that.
Is that also some kind of form of, because we showed that piece also last Wednesday, and I was thinking about it's also very much sort of slapstick. Sort of, we always think that sort of these sort of change of technology, it's always a lot of times it's men sort of being serious with machinery, but it's also kind of funny that most times like the stuff is just failing.
Yeah, it's nice to see that sort of. I don't know. It's like a bunch of scientists thinking they have completely control, or thinking exactly knowing what they're doing, but then it's like a bunch of people messing around with technology and hopefully get it right or get it well.
Exactly, hopefully. And Sjoerd, your parents also were very intrigued by this work, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I was talking with my my father about it. Like, I showed it on the while we have dinner, and my mother was complaining about the sound of this this annoying video, while my father was saying, "But it's just the sound of the modem." And when I used to go on the internet and was waiting for my image to load, sorry, I'm receiving calls. His mother was complaining that she couldn't make a phone call because of this noise through the telephone line. And then a whole conversation started about the way he uses his computers on his school and what he was trying to do with it. So it was quite a nice conversation starter in a way. And they definitely recognize parts of that area of technology.
Nice.
Door overeenkomstigheid onderscheidt men wezenlijke verschillen wat een willekeurig persoon kan overkomen. Kan iedereen overkomen. Waarover men niet spreken kan. Daarover moet men zwijgen. Een goed verstaander heeft een half woord nodig de advertentie is een van de belangwekkendste en moeilijkste van de moderne literatuur vormen. Men kan niet applaudisseren met één hand. We bezitten slechts datgene waar we afstand van doen. Het succes van denkbeelden hangt niet af van hun juistheid. De duidelijkste geschriften worden onleesbaar de duisternis niets fleurt, een landschap zo op als gebakken eieren met ham. Door overeenkomstigheid onderscheidt men wezenlijke verschillen. Wat een willekeurig persoon kan overkomen, kan iedereen overkomen. Waarover men niet spreken kan, daarover moet men zwijgen. Een goed verstaander heeft een half woord nodig. De advertentie is een van de belangwekkendste en moeilijkste van de moderne literatuurvormen. Men kan niet applaudisseren met één hand. We bezitten slechts datgene waar we afstand van doen. Het succes van denkbeelden hangt niet af van hun juistheid. De duidelijkste geschriften worden onleesbaar in de duisternis. Niets fleurt een landschap zo op als gebakken eieren met ham.
So I chose it because I was having a call with Jan Robert, and he was trying to explain me some
Jan Robert Leegte.
Yeah, Jan Robert Leegte, theoretical stuff, but then maybe because of my connection, of his connection, he was lagging or he fell away, and then he had to go. And in the end of the conversation, I had to guess some kind of what he was trying to tell me. So I get like a few points. I read a few things down, but I missed some kind of links between like certain piece of text he told me. So that was directly the link to that video. And then when we showed it like last Wednesday, I think two of the one where in the live stream immediately replied on, "Oh, there's no audio. There's something going wrong." And I think it's the very strong of this work that when like the main thing is missing from this footage, that immediately your whole sort of way you watch it is like tear apart, that you can make the connection anymore because you see someone talking but you don't get the whole point.
Yeah, and I think when we had the meeting in Discord, I think you were the first one who showed the work that you've selected, and that really triggered me. I was like, oh, that's so great, because I really never would have gone for that work. And I think that's also what Sonic and I were discussing, like sort of it's almost like sort of the freshness, the way I think the collection of Lima is then also being put forward. I think that's really great. And also it's such a timeless piece.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will recognize this, like this work in a way they use, for example, Zoom now or Discord. And the nice thing about looking at this collection through like these goggles of, like say, communication, miscommunication, is that indeed you can kind of discover different works or the same work with another angle. I think that's a great way of looking at the archive or collection.
Great.
All right. Yeah, I got this, found this video called Bullet Swing, which I found really great. At first, I really thought like this is happening behind my screen. I really had the idea that someone is shooting with guns in my screen or something. So it's, in general, that's my life right now. Everything is happening behind the screen, so that's really great. But then afterwards, when you look at longer at the video, it also becomes this kind of like, first the guns are really shooting at each other, which is also kind of the news right now, where you have like countries kind of shooting at each other or trying to blame each other for this whole crisis, and then but slowly the guns start to, instead of pointing at each other, they start to point in the same direction, which could also be like this, where we start to fight against this virus and kind of go in the same direction, but they're still shooting at things. So we kind of, this violence, I kind of like in this kind of period of where there is supposed to be no violence, but this violence in this video is kind of shows how the news is also kind of violent for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting way of sort of looking at the impact of news. That it's not only about sharing information or saying to people stuff that happened during the day or over the past days, but that it's also that it has some kind of an impact on your mental state, basically.
Yeah, I saw I think the day before I found the video. There was like this. They made the thing that the holidays are kind of like you can't go to festivals anymore. And then I walked in the supermarket and there were like these two newspapers next to each other, the Telegraaf and the AD. And the AD was like, oh, slowly getting a bit back to normal. And the Telegraaf was like all kind of little things with festivals and holidays and all crosses through it, and like holidays is over. So it's really like this difference also in how you perceive things. Like one can think, oh, it's all getting a bit better, and the other one is just like, the world ends, all fun is gone, it's terrible. But that's kind of nice.
What I also really liked is that you choose a work by Carillon that doesn't express it so clearly, but he's really a reflector on how like mass media influence us, or how they are structured, and even he works with the materiality of this media. He also staged a film on a television screen in which he was making the movement which was made in the video with a portable like television screen, which is absolutely fantastic. But the work that you choose has these elements, but not so explicit. So I find it really interesting that you really touched on something that is in his body of work by a more subtle way. So well done.
Yeah, it was also an artist I did not know so much about.
You didn't? Oh, Carillon is really amazing. You should like, and if you want to see more about like the way he reflects on mass media, you should watch TV Tonight video. It's 10 minutes and it's a real like interesting analysis and very funny also. So go for it.
Yeah, so I chose it because it instantly reminded me of like a Zoom because of like the cross layout composition, and that's also like what you really see in Zoom, like the 4 shots and kind of like time just flies by in those things. You see a lot of portraits of people, and that's what I'm looking at like a lot of times now. And I don't know, like time just it is about the fast pace of like the world, but then he made it in the 80s, and like 40 years later it keeps going faster. And for me, this time as well, it just everything is going really fast. Like I was thinking about like how long are we doing this right now, and I was guessing like a month, but I think we're on like week 8 or something, week 9. Like, yeah, it's just kind of leaving, and I don't know, just your whole life is like kind of in the screen and like the 4 blocks. I don't know, it kind of reminded me of like what I'm going through right now.
And do you think that does it sort of influence you also? Because you were also, I think you were saying in the beginning, it's sort of yeah, it's also this really hectic video, the way it's being edited, and but the weird thing is that a lot of people are also saying that now we're living in a period where it's not hectic, but it's somehow very, when you have to go from one video conference to another video conference, it imposes a lot of stress. Is that also what you are experiencing, or?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's for me, it's not a super relaxed time. Like, I mean, the line between working and talking to people and having your own time kind of gets blurred in a way. Like, in a way, it becomes all one timeline instead of multiple things or multiple lives mixed together. It becomes like one, I guess.
Yeah, I also find it very interesting what you say with the screen being divided in several screens, and that does play tricks with your mind in the way you perceive time. And I think that's also a real like scientifically proven thing, because when you do things in a mirrored space, your time perception is different, so things seem to look twice as long, something like that. So maybe indeed it's also, we're constantly switching between several ways of perceiving time, like faster, slower. And I have the same, that it feels like an eternity, but also things a day goes super fast. So yeah, it does play tricks with our mind.
I was watching Fox News yesterday, as one does. Mm-hmm. And there was this, they have a panel discussion. It's called the All-Star panel, where they have like the biggest names on Fox News. And there was also one journalist from the New York Times. And when he started to talk, all of a sudden, it was of course about Trump, and he was being very critical about Trump. And then all of a sudden, the sound started to disrupt, like from the video that Sjoerd chose. And then the guy was like, "Oh, sorry, yeah, we don't hear you anymore." And then they cut him off.
No fucking way.
They blamed it on the webcam. It was so good. It was so transparent. It was amazing.
Fantastic, yeah. So
you all should watch Fox News. It's really great. Like only sort of the graphic.
Hoorden jullie dat ook?
Ja.
Dat was amazing.
Wat happened?
Deze.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing.
It's all recorded, right?
What happened?
I don't know. It went on mute by itself.
No, I muted. I muted to see if I could avoid it, but you were just like tick, 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 tick. You didn't hear that, Martijn?
No.
You're like a grass sprinkler.
Like really trying to beatbox.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think you were censored by the.
Do we have it recorded? It's kind of nice to have.
Yeah.
I hope it's also on the. I did record it, so if it is, we're definitely going to edit it in.
Yeah, for sure. It's super great.
It basically means don't be critical about Fox News.
No,
exactly.
Even Zoom is taken over.
Zoom censorship.
goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag. Goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, 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 goeiedag, goedendag, goedendag, Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goeiedag. Goeiedag. Goedendag. 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 Goedendag.
Goedemorgen.
Yeah.
Goedemorgen.
Goedemorgen. Yeah, it's when I found it, it started with a shot of the signature at the beginning, which I was really intrigued by, and then it went to a lot of goedemorgens, and it really reminded me of how we say hello to each other when we enter the Zoom call or the Discord call, and just every time someone new joins, you have to say hello, and you get other people saying hello, so it's like this hello train that keeps on going. And yeah, for me it was more about the sound than the image, but the image also still reminds me a bit of the like really bad webcam in a dark room video call. So yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, Rosa, also this work, and it also really surprised me. This was also one work that I think I would have sort of totally not pay attention to. And I think that's also what you're saying, like sort of the Goedemorgen train, but also the idea of the webcam and so the endless amounts of each day saying Goedemorgen. There was also one person that I spoke to who said like, yeah, why are we now all of a sudden always like waving to each other? Like when we're leaving,
Yeah.
like it's so stupid. It's the banality. Like, why can't you just say, well, okay, see you, bye. You know, like it's also like yeah. So I think also this work, it's also, yeah, it's like a gem that came out of the collection.
And how did you find it, Rosa? Because it's not so...
Yeah, the tag I searched was communication, and I just went through the whole list of it, and then I was like, okay, Goedemorgen, that's a nice title. What is it about? And then it's just Goedemorgen, and yeah, I really like that one.
Yeah, so it was based on the title also. That's funny. But you couldn't have guessed like how much it was actually fitting, this endless repetition of Goedemorgen. So that's nice.
It was super nice that it was signed in the beginning. Like, I hadn't seen that before, that you had the signature of the artist. Like, okay, my video, it's starting now, my signature on it.
I think that is something really that we should introduce.
There's the wonderful work by Peter Engels also in collection when he's smoking his signature in front of the camera. That's a real nice one. So I think
Smoking
we should sign videos, but in original way. So you can smoke it. I don't know. Like I leave it up for you. Like what else you can do with your signature.
I think it's just like for the schouw. The schouw is this presentation that we have at the end of each semester. And I think now that probably we're not going to do it in Arnhem. I think it would be something that you sort of sign off, you know, like what is it like what the American presidential candidates always say, sort of, I'm Joe Biden, I approve this message. Then you can do sort of, I'm Rosa and and this is my work, and then
sign it. That's
off.
really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you stand for it.
Hello. Yeah, I picked out the video from Kayo Yamamoto, a Japanese artist, and it plays with a hand in a screen and a hand outside the screen, but they still want to kind of touch or get attention from each other. And I think, yeah, for me it connects to this time for the feeling and the lack of touch in a way, and being all the time on the screen and still having contact, but not actually be able to shake a hand or give a hug. Yeah, so it's kind of a time of digital touch. Also with friends, we try to kind of do a high five in the Zoom, or like making, having kind of fun with the social connections we have these days through the screens. And yeah, I really like this simplicity in the film. And also that it's made so long time ago. I really liked the video and the artistic way of approaching hands and touch. Yeah.
Do you, what I found so great about the this video that you found, because you actually had like quite other like some other titles as well, is that with this one it's very much about sort of like, okay, we can sort of communicate with each other, we can see each other, we can hear each other. But one of the most fundamental aspects, I think, of human communication is the sense of being with someone.
Yeah.
And I think that video really showcases that really beautifully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I think also that you feel way more in this time that that part is actually so important of actually that being with each other, which you maybe normally take for granted or as something normal, but now really feel that that's actually maybe even more important than just hearing and seeing. That this other sense of your senses palette kind of is really important, for as human being.
Do you think that's also maybe something that should be rediscovered in a way, sort of how we are, because let's say the laptop, it's mainly focused on the image and sound, although you do touch the keyboard, but that's not really something that you consider as touch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also something I'm exploring in my own work right now. So also when I saw this video, it really related to my thoughts and my research on how can we make our digital interactions more physical as well.
Yeah, I think that's great. So that it's also maybe a re-evaluation of the media that we're using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 me lavo las manos. Lavo las manos, me 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 lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Lavo las manos, me 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 lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Lavo las manos, me 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 lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Lavo las manos, me 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 lavo las manos, lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos, 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 lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, lavo las manos, me lavo las manos, me lavo las manos. Me lavo las manos.
Yeah, can you explain a little bit like what it was for you to go through the collection of Lima and what did you find and why do you think people should be like really into this work?
Okay, well, it's the first time that I was in one of those super huge collection of video art. It's really nice that the collection is organized by topics, by artists, by year, because normally when I try to find a piece of art, I normally choose specific topics. So it's really helpful to have this kind of classification, and at the same time just searching and searching and searching different and unexpected piece of art was really, really nice. And yeah, I just found even a Spanish video artist that I don't even know. So it's weird because I'm from Spain and I never hear about them. So it was really nice to just found people from my own country in this type of archive.
And can you tell me a little bit about the work itself and why it sort of relates for you to this situation that we are in right now concerning like telecommunications, telematics, mishaps on the communication line, etc., etc.?
Well, I choose a work from Miguel Ángel Cárdenas from '82, and the name is Me lavo las manos, what is translated to I wash my hands. I think it's related with the situation, but not because the COVID situation and the fact that we have to clean our hands, but the thing that is an expression that we normally use to say that we don't want to be involved in one problem. And right now, you can see it in the whole world that all the countries are pointing at other countries this problem. So I think it is really related, the gesture and the situation.
The global anxiety monitor, it's more about this idea of global anxiety. I really like that. I really like how it relates to how we also now have this global anxiety, for example, with the whole rush on the toilet paper. It's not really the first thing you think about what you would get in a crisis, but you see a lot of people copying each other on a global scale. So even what people are doing in other countries. So yeah, some kind of global herd behavior, yeah, global anxiety. So I think the work really relates to, yeah, we also share nowadays these, yeah, sometimes irrational kinds of fears and anxiety.
And David, I think you had like a very solid theory about the toilet paper, wasn't it? There was some kind of economics behind it.
Yeah, it's supposed to work like this in apocalypse situation or similar, when all the production of basics is gone. Normally people, or it's supposed to, the people start using this toilet paper, ramen, stuff like this as a monetary value, because it's super difficult to find, and it's something that everyone needs every day. So, but I don't know why in this situation people don't need like so much toilet paper. So maybe the whole society just thought that this is gonna be the end or something.
Yeah, I also read some articles about the psychology behind this. And it's also just because people see somebody else buying so much toilet paper, and then a lot of people do it. They're like, just to be sure, they also get a little bit extra. But now that also happens, you don't see it in your own neighborhood, but you see it like in Japan or America, you see those videos. But then we also here start to copy that behavior. So really weird.
I find that actually what you're saying, that is actually very fascinating. It's some kind of a cross-cultural emotion.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
think that's also what the work is a bit about.
Yeah, but that's also how this anxiety is increased by the internet, because you see just everything that happens on a global scale. So it's also
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, I also think it just has to do with the fact it's just the biggest item in the supermarket. Like nobody is sort of going for the saffron, you know, because it's just really small. Nobody sees that if you buy all the packages of saffron.
yeah, there's so much in there, in the way of, yeah, now how it goes with the nature, that there's that kind of the animals are more in charge of places right now than humans are normally, and everywhere, everything. Yeah, a lot of. I think now on the news was also that here in the Netherlands we didn't had such a nice April in 120 years or something, with so many sun hours that that it was insane for the Netherlands, and that yeah. So yeah, I think here for me it shows that it takes away kind of the the bad air from all the factories in a way, but also the clouds because it was so sunny these days. So yeah, those two things are in there for me, and yeah, video wise, I really like this simplicity of reversing the action, kind of. Yeah.
I think what's also really nice about that video is sort of the something that we really take for granted, which is air. And now all of a sudden, air became like the vessel for the spread of this virus, and that we also have to sort of reconsider like air is also something like a medium that you also have to take into account. We never really discuss like air quality or something that is we take as a granted thing, and then all of a sudden that video also shows like, hey, that's also a subject that we have to take into consideration.
Yeah, and I think also sense-wise, that is something kind of invisible. It is there, but we cannot actually see it. But yeah, in these kind of moments, also those things become way more important. Comes way more to the light.
Yeah, and also our current, indeed, what Martijn says, paradoxal like relationship with air, that it's either like it gives us life and it makes that we stay alive, but also it's the thing that endangers us currently. And I think that's also, there's another work by Marina and Ulay, breathing in, breathing out, that also demonstrate that in a way, because they are like, it looks like they're kissing, but they're like with their mouth to each other, and they closed off their noses, and they breathe in and out as long as there's enough oxygen. So you also see that like you need like fresh air. So if you're constantly like feeding each other air, at one moment you're both like gonna die. So this like tension of air is indeed a very actual topic, I think.
Then maybe the Joost Rekveld, I think it's number 37, if I'm correct.
The one Dan and I chose, right?
Yeah.
And Dan, I believe Dan said this is Netflix for me, because at some point you're just watching, but the only thing you do is watching. I don't know what you're looking at anymore, but you start to get lost in this image. And then I replied to it. I said it's a kind of yoga or meditation for the eye, because there seem to not be a lot of things going on, but then when you really look at it,
yeah, I found that one for me, that was like such a when I saw that Dan choose that one, I was like, well, I really would like to find out like his motivation for it, because that's what I said before, like Joost was my teacher and also the teacher of Mike, and I would have never sort of expected to see that film within the context that we were talking about, and sort of like diving into the collection of Lima. And then I think that's so great that someone comes up, and also the way you described it, like sort of the meditation for the eye. I think it's a really fresh and a very original way of looking at it. Well, it reminds me a bit of how Stan Brakhage, the avant-garde filmmaker, spoke about sort of watching movies sort of for the untutored eye, so the eye who does not know what it's looking at, so it's just staring. Which also, I don't think we have that difference so much in Dutch, because in English you have like looking at, that's really like looking at objects, and you have staring, where something is sort of receiving, it's more the act of receiving. Yeah, maybe we have the act of staren. Maybe that could be it.
Yeah.
So that at one point you're not anymore, so the screen is not something that you are concentrated at, but maybe what Dan was saying, and maybe also what you were saying, is like just the act of sort of receiving images.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, not being aware of what they mean, but just more the experience of it. Okay, well, I would say thanks everybody.
Yeah, many thanks. It was real cool to hear this.
And enjoy your Friday. There's already one thumbs up. That's good.
Yes. And please, let's all wave, because Martijn wants it so badly. Have a great day. See you.
Okay, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.